Hello again. Here's some things. I don't want this to come off as like a brag or anything, but I've had an extremely interesting, sometimes crazy, sometimes funny life, but very interesting. No offense to anybody, but probably more interesting than 99% of the people out there. Maybe 99.9. Um, there's a few things that have happened to me or I've done that most people never get a chance to do. So, again, it might seem kind of braggy, but it's really not. I'm just trying to get, remember, I'm just trying to get, before I die, I just want to get like everything that's in here, just kind of get it out. And I've always felt like people, because people judge, we all judge people. So people, I've always been a big guy. Now I'm fat. I used to be more muscular, way muscular. But they always, if you're a big guy like that, they just look at you like, oh, you're just a dumb musclehead, or you're, a jock and whatever. So they don't figure you to be intelligent. But I have a 133 IQ, which is near genius. I may not have, a ton of, university or whatever type of official education like that. But I have a ton of knowledge, a ton of wisdom. Um, Part of it is because I have so much work experience and life experience, and traveled all over the world, all over this country, every state. Um, so, and I've always been observant. Um, so I have a lot of wisdom. Anyway, that being said, here's some things that I've done that very few people have done, and all of them together probably will never happen. So, for example, at 22, just kind of on a whim, I met Classy Freddie Vlassi. He was a professional wrestler back, I think, from the 40s to like the 60s or early 70s, and then he became a manager, for the wrestlers. And it's the late 80s, no, it's 1990. Sorry, 1990. I met him, and we got to talking for a while. Real cool guy, really nice guy. He was really old then. I think he was 75 or whatever. and and he just said, "No, you're a big guy. You can get into wrestling if you want. I'm sure you can do it easy. You're athletic, right?" Yeah, okay. So he told me that there was a wrestling school called Slammers Wrestling Gym. He didn't remember the name of the city, but he remembered the name, Slammers Wrestling Gym. So I looked it up, gave him a call, and the next day I went down there and started training. And about 3 months later, at the age of 22, I was in the ring with Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, a very, very famous wrestler from the 80s, very early 90s, in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. Um, Passed away a couple of years ago. And and so yeah, and it was just like I said. I wasn't sitting there as a kid like, oh, I want to be a professional wrestler. No, it was just kind of like, why not? Let's do it. And pretty quickly, I did it. Now, I wasn't hugely successful. I was good at the physical wrestling part, but I didn't have the personality, which is what you really need. I got injuries, a bunch of serious injuries early on, and then it wasn't really working out, and I just said, I'm all right with it. Because, again, it wasn't my dream. So if it wasn't working out, I was like, yeah, move on to something else. Plus, like I've said, if you watched some of my other videos, I've always been kind of lost in my life. I never had direction. I never had a dream that I wanted to do this or do that. I never found my passion. Um, so that's why I had so many different jobs, and you know, actually, what was funny was that being a professional wrestler, that was my first job um, away from working for my father, who always had real estate and a hotel and then a supermarket and then apartments and, you know, excuse me. And so anyway, so it was fun. Um, and had some, made, I got to meet Andre the Giant. Um, I wrestled Cowboy Bob Orton. I wrestled some other big names, Ivan Koloff. Um, so ultimately I regret it for the injuries. But I mean, still it was fun. So then after that, the LA riots hit, and then I became a bounty hunter. And because I saw, I was already getting kind of pissed at all the crime. Gang members especially, I really hated them. Still do. And then the riots happened. That really hit me. It changed me. And 3 weeks later, I was a bounty hunter. I was kicking down doors, making arrests. And I thrived on that. I really did thrive on that. But, it can be, I didn't care about the danger. I was never scared. That was one thing I noticed about myself. I was never scared. Didn't matter what situation I was going into with gangs and surrounded by people and bullets flying, and it never bothered me. It's weird, but it just never bothered me. I mean, later on, I got in a shootout, shot 3 people, and it literally didn't bother me. I went home, slept like a baby. It's never bothered me, still to this day. Whoop-de-doo. It's just, I don't know why. Maybe was my calling, was to be a soldier or cop or something. But I got away from it because I saw that it didn't bother me. I started thinking, shit, you just shot 3 people and it doesn't bother you. It may not be good for your future. I mean, you end up killing someone and it doesn't bother you, and then you become one of those, cops or bounty hunters that end up doing crazy shit and think you can do whatever you want, and you end up dead or in prison forever. And so I got away from that. Real quick note though, it felt like my partner and I, it felt like we own this town. We can do whatever we want. Because for a time we could pretty much do just about whatever we want. I mean, we would use our badges to get in everywhere. We were rousting a guy when we were out looking for another guy, and LAPD kind of stopped and flashed their light on the side of the thing, and we saw them, and we just gave them the Code 4 sign, and they nodded their head, and they just drove off. You know what I mean? I had a couple times where made like an illegal U-turn. I didn't have any, badge or anything that identified me as anything, but I guess, everyone said I looked like a cop. Especially when I just had a mustache, got the cop mustache. And that happened twice where a cop saw me and I just kind of went like that, and he just kept going. He didn't pull me over. He just assumed I was a cop, and he just... I even got a cop discount a couple of times at restaurants. Went to the Subway once, and a foot long, and combo was like $4.50, and I was like, $4.50? Then he saw my face, and then he looked at me and went, "Oh, never mind." And then I realized, hey, you just gave me a cop discount. So, but anyway, I got sidetracked. So that was that. I changed my life. I was 300 pounds then. I lost a bunch of weight, got down to 200. And then got more into fitness and started working selling gym memberships and whatnot. And then a guy I knew, he was hosting a Miss Fitness contest in Huntington Beach. I was working in Costa Mesa right next to it. And so he said, "Hey man, do you want to be one of the judges?" Hell yeah. So there I was judging a Miss Fitness contest in Huntington Beach, which was cool as hell, it was fun. And of course my favorite part was during the bikini contest, because they come out in high heels and bikinis, and it's like, I mean, their bodies are just amazing. So I'm going, holy crap, 10? Holy crap, 10? Damn, 10? So the lady in charge of the judges, she came over, she's like, "You can't just keep giving all of them 10s. I said, "The hell I can't, lady. Now get out of my way." "Oh, shit, 10. Oh my God, 10. So that was fun and interesting. And again, something that, not too many people can say they did. About a year after that, a year and some change, I started date a girl. Just went out a couple times, but during that couple of times, she was a contestant in Miss Newport Beach, and she freaking won. And I'm looking at her going, "What? Yeah, she's cute and all, but Miss Newport Beach? Good Lord!" It was shocking to me. And then she completely changed. She was just like, oh, oh. I mean, her whole persona just changed. And so I was just like, I don't want anything to do with her. Suddenly her ego was out of control. But I thought that was kind of a feather in my cap, Dated a woman when she won a beauty contest, right? But then she screwed it up because for the next year she's a representative of the Miss Newport Beach competition. So there's certain rules, things you can't do, things you need to do. You need to make appearances here and there and whatnot. And she messed up, and during that 1 year she became a stripper, and someone found out. And she was gone. They stripped her of her Miss Newport Beach title, and that was that. And she just kind of laughed it off. She didn't really care. Because she just did it kind of like how I did professional wrestling. It was just on a whim, Anyhow. Yeah, okay, so, and then, so later on, after that, my old partner from the bounty hunting, he started doing that again. Wasn't really interested in doing it full time, but he knew I was the only one that was not scared. So I told him, okay, from time to time, if you need help, give me a call. And we went out one night looking for a guy. The initial entry, all that was smooth. But apparently on the paperwork, it was not filled out properly. And so a lot of houses in LA, they have the address of the house up front, but then they have a back house which has a half. Or sometimes they have multiple houses and there's a quarter, a half, or 3/4. So apparently the guy was in the back house. Now we had already checked in with LAPD, told them we were being there, and everything was fine. But somebody called when they saw us coming in, and whoever it was, the watch commander, he didn't pass on the notice to anybody that we were going to be there. So we stepped outside to go to the back house, and there was a dozen cops out there pointing guns at us. So we dropped our guns. They very quickly, with a phone call, straightened it out, handed us our guns back, and said, "Okay, go do your thing." And so everything was fine. We didn't get the guy. He was gone. We made too much ruckus before that, so he was gone. And then 2 weeks later, we get a phone call from detectives telling us that the families made a complaint that we assaulted them. We never touched anybody. We didn't do anything. Come to find out, we get to court, and it's not just a simple assault. They're claiming that we put guns to their heads, telling them we're going to kill them, and so they're trying to get us for holding people hostage, and all this, and telling us we're facing 30 years in prison. What? We literally didn't do anything wrong. Anyway, long story short, that went on for a long time, and I was so stressed out, and you're not thinking straight. They're dangling 50 years at you, and you're like, what the hell? So at the last minute before I was supposed to go to court to possibly turn myself in or maybe extend it a little longer, I just said, screw it, I can't do this. Anyway, we had, because we were under stress, we thought we'll just take a deal. It was still crap. But 5 years was the deal. It was like, but we had no confidence in our lawyer. We knew we were being railroaded, because the thing was, California wanted to change the laws for bounty hunters. And in order to do that, they needed to get some convictions so they could say, see, that's why we need to change it. And so we could see from the preliminary hearing that we were being railroaded. It was kind of like how Donald Trump, like how his lawyers were trying to ask questions, and nope, you can't ask these questions. You can't. I was like, what do you mean? So that's what was happening with us. Our lawyer was asking a question, and the judge stopped him. No, you can't ask that. Why not? Because I say so. He asked something else. No, you can't ask that either. Well, what the hell? So then we had an LAPD sergeant with us as our witness. We had the bail bondsman, our lawyer. All of them afterwards said they're gunning for you, and I don't see a way out for you guys. So then after that, we were like, screw it, I'll just take the deal. But I just couldn't do it. So I took off. I went to Greece. My family's from Greece. So I spent over more than 2 years there. Living there was kind of cool. It was boring as hell during the winter. This is on an island. In wintertime, like right now, there's only 2,000 people on the island. Summertime, there's 20, and it's beautiful. And so many women. Nightclubs are good. Bars are good. But anyway, so I was a fugitive from justice for over 2 years. I left the country. Now that's not too many people can say that. But it stays in here in the back of your mind, and you're thinking, okay, what am I going to do in a few years down the road? I can't just stay like this. It's just so. I came back and I worked it out and did the 5 years in prison. Yeah. Which is another thing, Well, there are more people that went to prison than were a fugitive, but also while I was in Greece, I dated a woman there from Athens. Her name was Athena, aptly named, and she was a model, one of those on the game show hosts. They show the products, and she was a model, one of those models. Delicious. Gorgeous. I know, looking at me, you think, oh, you're making it up. No. 25 years ago, I was slim, trim, good-looking dude, confident with women. it was good then. Anyhow, this is going on a little further than I wanted. I do have some other stuff. Maybe I'll make some more videos on it. So, all right.